Michael, we've just left the courtroom, and it was a small victory. They did agree to give you the 60 days to get a new lawyer, and that lawyer can hopefully demand the exculpatory evidence from the prosecutor. The prosecutor just generally seemed annoyed that you wanted to exercise your rights.
Seemed like he was upset that he had to get out of bed today.
That was your defense attorney was annoyed.
I'm
talking about the female prosecutor.
They were both not happy.
She sort of, she was like, well, I won't object to staying the sentencing as long as we know that the 60 days...
And this is the last one.
Is the last one. And the judge agreed. The judge agreed, which, yeah, I was also thinking, how can they say that? But
if all of the evidence hasn't been given to me and I can't make a proper decision, how can they expect me to go ahead and say, yes, you know what, I'll take this plea deal for something I didn't do?
Right.
So they're just trying to take as long as they possibly can and drag me through this, get me to be tired of wearing this ankle monitor.
Oh, yeah, let's see that. I don't know if people have seen that.
Yeah, I've got just the 1-year anniversary of having this ankle monitor on. This is a smaller one, actually. The other one was a lot bigger, and they upgraded it, so...
Huh. And so that's a real hassle, huh? So the bigger one, you had to have it plugged in to charge it and stuff like that?
Every day, yeah, about 2 hours, had to plug that thing in, I'm
tethered
trying
for
to
2
work.
hours to a plug.
Without being convicted. I haven't been convicted of a crime yet. I have this, and thankfully I'm not in pretrial prison like a lot of these guys that we were just in there watching.
Yeah.
They might have gone through something similar to me, and they didn't have bail or they weren't offered a bond, and they've been sitting in jail for a year or 2 years.
Some rough-looking people in there.
There's some people that, that I wouldn't want. I grew up with, around a lot of, Fresno was kind of rough in some areas. I lived in a nice neighborhood, but I've been around a lot of those people, so that part doesn't scare me.
Well, but you want to stay out
I
of jail.
do not want to be hanging out with a lot of those folks, even though some of them I'm pretty sure are innocent and have gone through some of this standard kind of stuff. Yeah, there's some rough people that do probably belong in there, and
So we had some brief words with your, he was a public defender, the guy?
Public defender, Milo Iniguez. I called him a month and a half ago to contact him and sit down with him and maybe go over a strategy of how we're going to do this. He basically told me, send your letter. I told him I was going to write up a letter that I wanted to read in court. He said, send your letter to me, I'll give it to the judge, I'll see you at court.
Yeah, he was really rude. Not interested in your rights, not interested in helping you at all.
Not at all. And I called him last week and said, hey, I think we should sit down and talk about what we're going to go through. When if I'm going to accept a plea deal, maybe we should talk about that so that we can go through the process.
Yeah.
And you understand who I am a little better.
Yeah.
And present. He had no interest in that. And when we tried to talk to him today, he was completely
just rude,
offended that I handed him a letter that I had taken the initiative to do this on my own. Like, that's my job.
It's a good letter, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So the letter spoke about how your first lawyer basically totally did not follow your orders, did not ask the prosecutors to present the exculpatory evidence.
When they would not give the exculpatory evidence, I asked for him to demand the evidence.
A motion to compel. Right.
Exactly. Thank you, Brian. And
he wouldn't do it.
He refused to do it. He said, "What's on those videos? What's so important?"
Tell us that lawyer's name again.
His name is Mark J. Victor, and actually he's a former Marine, and he calls himself a libertarian. But when I told him that he does not care about the Constitution, he said, the Constitution's just a suggestion the Supreme Court has control over.
No way.
So, yeah, absolutely. And so...
Mark J. Victor, you should be ashamed of yourself.
You are not a patriot.
Not even a lawyer.
You misrepresent yourself. If you would have done your job at all, I would not be standing here right now. I would be progressing with my life.
The other thing that we should bring up again here, Michael, is that Mark J. Victor was contacted by David George Swigert. Specifically, David George Swigert told Mark J. Victor that you have been making YouTube videos describing Mark J. Victor's failure to uphold the guidelines of the Arizona State Bar Association.
Exactly.
Now, Mr. Swigert, David George Swigert, chose of his own accord, he has no relationship to this case whatsoever, chose to contact Mark J. Victor in an effort to harass you, Michael.
Day before I had to make that plea deal.
Yes, he interfered with an officer of the court. He interfered with your rights to a fair trial. And I do hope that there is some repercussions for that, because people should not be interfering with the normal justice process. That was a malicious act.
And I don't think he just did that on his own. I believe he's got some kind of guidance, which makes this organized stalking and harassment, which is a violation of U.S. Code 18, Section 241 and 242, conspiracy against rights.
Wow. Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Excellent, Michael.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Michael. Well, listen, it's pretty cold out here this morning in
freezing.
Arizona. Yeah, all right. We'll wrap it up for now. We'll be back later. Thanks, Michael.
Hi, everyone.